Welcome to the candidate Q&A.
I hope everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Just want to make sure. Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to the 2021 Part-Time Officer Candidate Q&A. This is your opportunity to find out more about the candidates running to be your part-time officers. We have 22 candidates all together, and this includes our liberation officers and faculty reps and officers this year. We wish the best of luck to every candidate in this election. Elections are your chance to directly say who you think should represent you in different areas of the union. Our part-time officers can make real change happen at SUBU, so it is important to be engaged in this process. So thank you for being here tonight. We'll start now with the candidates for our liberation officers role, going in alphabetical order. So we'll start with candidates for Asian, Arab and ethnic minority officer, and ending with candidate for women's officer. We will then move on to the candidates for the roles of faculty rep and officer, again going in alphabetical order. So starting with business school, then moving to the media and communication, and ending with science and technology. It is important to note that there are no candidates for the SUBU Summit Chair or for Faculty of Health and Social Sciences rep. Further information about these positions will follow. The orders that candidates have been invited to speak have been randomized for fairness. This is the same order that you will see on the SUBU promotional material. Remember, time limits are imposed to ensure the fairness of the event and ensures each candidate has equal time to speak. So if a candidate goes over the time that is required, the chair will cut them from speaking. In each role, each candidate will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves, and we will then move on to the questions. There are then a total of 3 rounds of questions per role. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer. So, firstly, each candidate will be asked why they wish to be elected, and the second question will be set by the audience and will be asked to all candidates for the given role. The third and final question can be asked to a specific candidate. Questions that are personal or provocative will not be allowed. If you have a question for a candidate, please raise your hand when we ask for questions. We will also be checking to see if there are questions submitted from people watching the live stream. If there are no questions from our audience, we will take questions that were submitted before the event via social media. We will prioritize live questions. If you don't get the opportunity to ask your questions tonight, you can find the candidates via the campaigning platform and ask them there. Finally, some general housekeeping. We are not expecting the fire alarm to go off during this event, but if the alarm does sound, please make your way to the nearest fire exit. So we have a fire exit right behind you and another one right down the stairs. If you require assistance during the evacuation, there are some staff here who will be more than happy to help you. If you need help at any point, please ask a member of staff. Toilets are behind you, so right over there. There is a gender-neutral toilet and a accessible toilet on this floor and more toilets downstairs. Thank you again for coming, and now I will pass on to Solid to introduce the Liberation candidate.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. So thank you, Naomi. I am Tolu, your Vice President of Welfare Community, as you can see there. And then it is my pleasure to introduce this year's Liberation Officer candidates. So we'll start with the candidates for the Asian, Arab and ethnic minority group. If they can come up and sit on one of these lovely chairs. Is they not here? No, okay, we'll go to the next candidate. And that's for the Black Student Officer. So if you can have the candidates for the Black Student Officer roles and come and sit in these chairs, please. Thank you. Thank you. In this election, we have 4 total candidates for the Black Student Officer, and as you can see, we have 2 of them here with us, and then we also have the candidate which is called Reopen Nominations. So each candidate will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. So we will start with Ebube.
Yes, my name is Ebube Christian, as a postgraduate student of engineering project management, Bournemouth University, obviously, and I'm running for the post of the Black Students Officer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the next candidate is Oluwaseun.
Hello everyone, my name is Ogunleye Oluwaseun Manuel. I'm a postgraduate student of business analytics from the business school. I'm also running for Black Student Officer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our first question is to both candidates, and that is, why should students vote for you? So we'll start with you, Ebube, and you have 30 seconds to answer the question.
Okay, I'm a very passionate Black person, and my main goal is to take away the stigma that we have for the Black people, and to make sure that we clear off that image, the bad image that anyone would have for the Black person. And the way I'm going to achieve that is to create a better network for the Black people in school, and make sure that we respect the Black person in a very, 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 very good way. So, that's it. Thank you.
And the same question will be for you, and that is, why should students vote for you? And you have 30 seconds starting now.
All right, I believe leadership is about service, and over time, I've been in the service industry from my graduates to postgraduate, and I see plight of young people, young Black people here, and I believe I can be of service to them. You know, to roll out interventions that will change the narrative of young Black people in Bournemouth University. I believe if I'm being elected into that post, I can roll out different interventions. I have networks already that I'm working on, and I believe we can achieve better things. That SUBU is already doing great things, but we can enhance what they're doing with our collaboration.
Thank you very much. Now on to the second part of our questions, and these are questions for all candidates. However, I want to give the opportunity to the audience to ask a question for all candidates. So does anybody have a question? No? That's okay, we came prepared with a question. And that question is for, again, all candidates. Do you have a campaign in mind if you were successful, and what would it tackle? So I'll first start with you, Ebube. The question is, do you have a campaign in mind that if you were successful, do you have a campaign in mind, and what would it tackle? And you have 30 seconds to answer that, starting now.
Okay, if I got your question correctly, what my campaign would tackle?
Yeah, so if you're successful, what would your campaign be, and what would it tackle?
Okay. My campaign is still about taking away that bad image, or the little bad image that a lot of people have about the black person. So that is where my campaign, that is actually what my campaign is going to tackle, and I have laid down plans already to make sure that we make the Black man a safe person to associate with, make the Black man a safe person to be around, so we don't have to be scared of the whole color differences and all that. So we're here to make sure that we clear the records.
Okay, thank you very much. And the same question will be for you, so that if you're successful, do you have a campaign in mind, and what would it tackle? And you have 30 seconds to answer, starting.
Well, if I'm being elected into the post, one of my campaign, one of the strategy I want to pursue is empowerment, because I believe we have different networks that we can tap into. One of it is the Black business owners, Black business organization in the UK. So I believe as a student, we are not yet to just study, we are yet to also gain other skills. So my focus will be on empowerment, how to get other soft skills that will enhance us when we get to the bigger market space.
Thank you very much. And now we'll go on to our final question, and these are questions for individual candidates. So, does anybody, again, I'll go to the audience, does anybody have a question for an individual candidate? No? Okay, don't worry, again, we have questions. This is for you, Ebube. So your question is, what would you do to best represent Black students at BU? And you have 30 seconds to answer that starting now.
First of all, I'm gonna put up that image of a good Black student. First of all, then secondly, I'm gonna create a network, a very easy network, make sure that we, the Blacks, we are together, and would make sure that there is no attack against us, quote, racial attack against us and all that. So it's something about brother deliver brother. So more of being together to make sure that none of us is being marginalized, and also making sure that we have a good character ourselves. You understand? So that we're going to change that narrative of the Black man being probably a dangerous person. You know?
Thank you very much. And the next question is for you, and that question is, how will you make connections between Black students and other liberation groups?
Well, I think liberation is about freedom in itself, and already I want to cite a typical example of my class. We have about 20 Indian students and 10 Black, students. And usually when we come to the class, there's always a separation. The Blacks go this way. I decided to start sitting within the Indian student to break that barrier of segregation. So I believe leadership is by example, and I've been doing that already, and I will continue to do that, to lead by example, breaking that barriers. We're all students, though we have different color, but we still have common identity, which is the studentship of everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you to all the candidates for this rough answering the questions, and we'll now move on to the next one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and our next candidates will be for the Disabled Student Officer. So can they please come up, if that's okay? So as you've just seen, each candidate will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. So we'll start with you, and you have 30 seconds starting now.
So I'm Caitlin. I'm a level 5 student studying computing. I'm not just physically disabled, although I don't look it. I have got other hidden disabilities, which is why I think I'd be really great to support and help them as well.
Thank you very much. So our first question is going to be the same for all candidates in the deliberation group, and that is, why should students vote for you?
So I think students should vote for me mainly because I know what it's like to feel part of a minority group. I've struggled with my disabilities for quite some time. I've got autism, I've got depression and anxiety, and the disabled student role isn't just for physical disabilities, it's for those that are neurodiverse and for those that have got accessibility needs as well. Part of the campaign that I want to run is making sure that it's clear to all students that have got those accessibility needs, those additional needs, know that this role is to support them. It's not just those with physical impairments.
Thank you very much. So I will now open it up to the audience to ask candidates a question. Does anybody have a question for our candidate? Yeah, sure.
Do you have any plan for how you want to make people with hidden disabilities feel more, seen and included and important?
Of course. So the biggest thing that I found as running part of the society is there's so many little socials and events that don't happen for those that have accessibility needs. Be that being an accessibility open, going to the pub, or being a quieter night, like enjoying each other's companies. It wouldn't just be a case of looking at what we can do physically around campus, it would be looking at what we can do in the clubs and the communities and the societies that we've also got here available for us.
Thank you very much. And then the next question I'll ask you is, can you give an example of the types of sessions you think clubs and societies should be offering to students with additional needs?
Yeah, so I think I covered briefly in that. Being autistic myself, I absolutely hate loud noises. I really don't like going out into places where it's just noise, it's sound, it's it feels claustrophobic, as it were. And I think that part of the support we can get through ALS, part of the support we can get through SUBU, is providing a safe space on campus or speaking to those clubs and societies, speaking to the different facilities in Bournemouth to put on special events and sort of make it a conversation topic rather than making it a taboo. If people are aware of it and people are actively communicating about it, I feel that it'll just be better for everyone.
Thank you very much. Those are all the questions, so thank you so much. And I will invite the next batch of candidates up. And the next candidate group will be for the LGBT officer. So whoever's running for that, can you please walk up stage? Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you. So yeah, we'll start like with the rest of the candidates. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. So starting now.
Hello, I'm Jodie. I do psychology with forensic investigation in my first year, and from my own difficulties with looking at different sexualities and identities, I want to help others and help the community learn more about pretty much everything.
Thank you very much. So our first question is what we're asking all candidates regardless of their role, and that is, why should students vote for you? You have 30 seconds starting now.
I'm a listener. I come up with a lot of ideas, but I just don't know how to express them. So by listening to others, I get my own ideas. And through actually what the students say, I want to turn that into reality. If they have an idea and they just can't seem to get past the wall of, oh, I don't know who to talk to, I'm here to actually take your ideas and actually let you see them in reality.
Thank you very much. Our second segment is for anyone in the audience to ask a question for the candidate. Anyone have a question? Okay. So the question I'll ask is, do you have a campaign in mind, and if you're successful, what would it tackle?
I want to make being gay more of a norm, not as something like, oh, okay, so you're, not the norm. I want to make it so Bournemouth University is seen as somewhere to come to be yourself. Even if you're questioning and you don't know which label you define, it's fine. Just simply asking yourself that question takes so much of yourself to ask that you should be proud of that, not repressed or thinking, I'm weird, I shouldn't be doing this, why can't I just be like the Disney characters? Why isn't love the same for me? So I just want to make it so people can love however they want.
And then our last question for you is, what will you do to represent the interests of the LGBT at
Basically, just being here, just being active and being a spokesperson. Like, if you need me, you don't have to go about going, how do I do this? It should already be there. I'm not sure how that could be. Maybe it's on the website that one has, or having my contact information out there. But I aim to just be someone that pretty much everyone goes, oh, them, I know who to talk to.
Thank you very much. Our questions will go on to the next round. The next batch of candidates will be for the trans and non-binary officer, so please join me on stage. So like said before, you'll have 30 seconds to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ariana. I'm a level 6 student at ITM. I'm running for the trans non-binary candidate this year, and yeah, we want you guys to vote.
Thank you very much. So our first question is, why should students vote for you?
Yeah, I think trans and non-binary students should vote for me because I've got their best interest in mind. I'm here to be the voice and the figure for them so that they can feel safe and be themselves. And if they vote for me, I'll do everything I can to make sure that Bournemouth Uni is a safe and pleasant environment for everyone. And so that, you know, the trans person and the non-binary person of tomorrow can feel safe and stuff like that.
Thank you. So our second question is open up to anyone in the audience that wants to ask a question. And then we have a question. So our next question is, do you have a campaign in mind if you're successful and what will it happen?
Yeah, so what the campaign will work by going through and making sure that there aren't any like overt transphobic material and people sort of out about, so to make sure that people know that there are trans people, that we're here and that they're not acting transphobic and they're making people feel unsafe. So in the first part of my campaign, I'm going to work to find if there's anything bad that we can fix now to make it better.
My next question that I'll ask you, the last one, is how do you plan to educate staff and lecturers on trans issues?
Yeah, so I think one of the best ways to make people understand is by just teaching them about what it is to be trans. I don't really think most people have anything bad to say about this, but I think most bad things come from ignorance. So what I will platform on is to make sure that people know what trans non-binary is, and they can learn from me and from the other students to understand who we are and that we're not ignorant. That hopefully, by doing that, it should create a better environment and that students and lecturers will be more accepted.
Thank you very much. Thank you for answering my questions, and then I'll move on to the final roll for preparation groups. So now we're going to be discussing the role of the women's officer, so those that are running the youth organization on the stage. For women's thank you very much. So for each candidate, we'll have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. So can Iona go ahead?
Hi, my name is Yana. I'm 21 years old. I study computer animation, art and design in third year. And I come from Romania, and I am a woman.
Thank you very much. And Lauren, you also have 30 seconds to introduce yourself.
So hey everyone, I'm Lauren. I'm currently a master's student here at BU. I'm studying MA Marketing Communications. I did my BA here in TV production, so I've been at Bournemouth now for 4 years. I've been involved with SUBU before as a rep and as a faculty officer, so I kind of know how to put people's voices out there. And yeah, I'm running for women's officer this year.
Thank you very much. So our first question is to all candidates, and that is why should students vote for you? And I will start with you and then 30 seconds to answer. Starting with you.
So I want to approach my in this role as so I want to raise awareness, self-awareness, have activities with information and aware of what we should have in want to create a personal community, your activities that celebrate womanhood, and I also want to find a community for people who are involved in solidarity with all sorts of issues.
Thank you very much. And it's the same question for you, which is why should students vote for you? Let's start now.
Yeah, so I want to be able to create a safe space for women at BU. I think it's so important that all women should feel represented and comfortable throughout their whole time while they're at uni. I consider myself to be an intersectional feminist, so that means I don't just want to consider issues that just affect middle-class white women. I also want to consider how different issues affect trans women, how they affect women from low incomes, how they affect black women. Yeah, and I want to just consider a range of different issues. I want to hear what all different women have to say and make sure that everyone feels comfortable and represented.
On to our second round of questions. So these are questions for all candidates, but again, I want to ask the audience if you guys have any questions for all candidates. Again, prepared. The next question, again for all candidates, is: do you have a campaign in mind? If you were successful, what would it be?
One of them would be trying to represent the atmosphere about what we need for them to be women and womanhood. And I would like to organize a small maybe gallery or exposition of different concepts, and we could all maybe go and look at them and try and draw conclusions and see if there's common points, and hopefully learn something from it.
Thank you very much. And the same question for you, which is: do you have a campaign in mind if you were successful, and what would it tackle? And there are 30 seconds to answer.
Yeah, so I've also got quite a few campaign ideas. I'd say probably one of the most important relevant ones I've got is about consent and group culture. I think we've all seen instances of boys will be boys in group chats talking about women in inappropriate ways where women can't feel comfortable in certain spaces. And I think it's so important that men and women and non-binary people are all educated on how to speak in a way that makes everyone feel safe and comfortable, and to ensure that women aren't being made to feel sexualized or objectified.
Thank you very much. And now this is the final segment of questions where we have questions for individual candidates. So again, I'll open up to the audience. Does anybody have a question for each individual candidate? No? So I'll start with you. Your question is how we support women at BU to liberate themselves. And you have 30 seconds to answer.
So, as I said before, I feel like there's steps to take in order to liberate yourself, starting with self-awareness, like at a smaller level, and going out, creating like a safe and supportive community for all the women here to support each other and feel accepted and celebrate with them. And then going on even further, because not everybody feels comfortable like going straight to the most direct practices big scales, but hopefully it's better as well.
And your individual question is how do you think your experience as a faculty officer will help you as a resource officer? And you have 30 seconds to answer from now.
I think acting as a faculty officer has been very helpful to me because I have experience in listening to students. I've done that for the last year as a faculty officer and the last 2 years as a rep. I know how to represent your voices and take them to people who will listen and who will actually do something about it, basically.
Thank you very much. So those are all the questions for all of our different generation groups. I want to thank you very much. And now I want to introduce Chico to ask questions for the next group of students. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Chico and I am Vice President Education, and it is my pleasure to introduce this year's faculty rep and officer candidates. I'm so sorry if I speak too quickly, please tell me to slow down. Okay, so we will start with the candidates for the business for rep and officer. So please welcome all the candidates for this role. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. So we will start with Nicole.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and I am a second year of being accounting and finance. Last year I was a student rep, so I think I know how to like communicate with students.
Thank you. And now we move on to Jasmine, please.
Hello, I'm Yash Kapoor. I'm a level 5 business and management student. I have various roles such as international student ambassador, student representative, and as well as vice president at BU Hospitality and Tourism Society. We are a 4-star society, and the reason why I'm standing for the selection as a faculty rep is because I have four aims, such as support and wellness, course education.
Sorry, for that. I'm so sorry. So thank you both. We'll move on to our second question, which is for candidates. So if anybody in the audience has any questions for our business model candidates? No? Okay, I will proceed. So, Nicole, what do you think is the biggest issue facing your faculty?
I think maybe like student voice, and that there isn't many students approaching anyone like about their problems. Is that last year being a student rep, I realised that no matter like how much I put myself out there, there's like still a lot of students that don't really have confidence in talking to me. I feel like I want to be one of my first aim is to help with that and like make student voice happen.
That's great, thank you. Same question. What do you think is the biggest issue facing your faculty?
The biggest issue that all these students are facing in our faculty, and not just the faculty and Bournemouth University, is lack of coordination and communication between students and staff. So that should be something that we should focus on. I should focus on if selected as the faculty rep. There should be a good relationship, understanding between the students and staff to bring up any issues that the students face or the staff face while teaching the students. So yeah, thank you.
Next, we will move on to individual questions for the candidates. So does anybody have any questions for the candidates? Yes. You mentioned that you have 4 aims. What were they?
Yes. It's basically I'm focusing on the development and bringing changes in the course, the education. The second one is support and wellness for the students. The third one's direct line of communication between me and the students. And the fourth one is representation. That's basically for the minority group.
Does anybody have any questions for the Okay. So, Nicole, how often do you think students should meet with their rep in the session proposed, and what do you think those sessions should be?
I feel like student reps and students should meet maybe like every single week or maybe every fortnight and to talk about what we like and what we don't like and like any feedback they should say to them like that like they feel like it's right or that like adding in and I feel like it should be like meeting is like the student rep should be like I'm in this room, I'm in that time and then you can communicate.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, thank you so much to both our candidates and we will move on to Okay, so next we will move on to our candidates for the media and communications rep. So this is probably going to have one of our candidates here. So as usual, you will have 30 seconds.
My name is Udu. I'm an international student studying my master's in multimedia journalism. Mathurin, worked previously as a journalist, here to explain my knowledge.
Thank you. So my first question to you is, why should students vote for you?
Well, my candidacy is anchored on my desire to graduate. By that I mean I'll be listening to students and so I can understand what the challenge to our community is. That way I can feel to go between the students and the that change.
So I will then move on to the second set of questions. So this is not going to ask another question. I'm so sorry. Does anybody have a question? Okay. So what do you think is the biggest issue for the faculty?
I think the biggest issue would be inability for students to immediately lay complaints about things in fear and right. Oftentimes it's really fact that students engage with some person. What I want to do is to make sure we break that and make sure that people can immediately flag off whatever it is that they feel and they end up doing better. So I think that's the biggest issue. Easy access to data and tomorrow.
So my last question would be, you say you want to be led by those who have power to negotiate this. How would you approach this?
Well, over the last 10 years in my professional career, my skills as someone who can do advocacy work. Effectively, what I'm going to be is a channel to the students and those that can make it. What I was trying to do then is make sure that frequent meetings with the school staff and lay across these issues that we have collectively in a very organized manner. I put time to it so that we can, so that things are not running at the very time. We know that
Thank you. Okay, so finally, so finally, we will be moving on to the science and technology rep. So, please invite. Unfortunately, one of our candidates who could not be here today. He was being recorded, so thank you both. Okay, so Taro, you have 30 seconds to introduce.
My name is Taro. I'm a master's student. I'm studying MIT Computer Technology. I'm from Nigeria.
Now,
hi, I'm Kate. Firstly, thank you for everyone coming today and listening. I am a biomedical science student. I have a dog called Honey, and I don't want to be SciTech officer just because I want to take on that responsibility and dedicate myself to making positive changes for students in our faculty.
So I'm going to ask you to why should
I'm a very motivated person. In my previous job, I have leadership skills. I feel I can bring I have good communication skills. I'm very, students can come and talk to me, and I can relate with about whatever problems they have. I feel these skills are useful. They have involved me.
Thank you. I would like to ask you the same questions.
I think students should vote for me So I attended high-up meetings at FASTEC and represented student voice there. A few quotes from some people. They say that I had constant enthusiasm and dedication to the role and strong representation of the student voice, and I was highly effective in providing feedback and promoting change. I really, really want to make a change for students, and that's why I'm doing this. It's not to put on my CV. If this could be the smallest role, but if I could implement changes for the best, that will make student life better and student education better, that's my goal. And I really want to achieve that, and that's really should hope.
So we'll move on to our second question. Can I ask if you have any questions for both of our candidates? So Tara, can I ask you, what do you think is the biggest issue facing your faculty?
I think the biggest issue will be diversity. We have different people from different countries in my department. I feel we can maybe allow people to talk more, we can learn from each other. So I feel I can try and bridge the gap between different people in the department. So I feel that's the biggest issue.
I think from being a student rep last year, I found that the biggest issue was a lack of communication between students and staff. There are 6 departments in SciTech: life and environment, psychology, design and engineering, creative technology, computing, and archaeology and anthropology. And that's so many students. And I think sometimes that communication is just broken down. So last year, to solve that, I actually made a group chat between all of the SciTech reps to try and get everybody talk and communicate about problems. And I think that worked, but I think it's still, and I think that this year it needs to change. And I'm going to try to change that by going to the relevant meetings, FASEC, ASEC, representing the student voice and making sure that we are heard.
Thank you. So our next question is about the independent candidate. However, does anybody in the audience have a question for each of our candidates? Yes.
Yeah. So from your experience last year with being faculty rep already, what did you learn from that in terms of things that you can improve on other than communication?
What, throughout the faculty?
Yeah, throughout the faculty.
Okay. So, well, obviously I'm a woman in STEM, and I'm also disabled. Obviously, it doesn't look it, but some days I can be in a wheelchair, some days I'm running. I don't run though, I don't like running. I can. And I think making sure that students from a background of, you know, sometimes they're not listened to as much and sometimes they're not heard, making sure that their voice is represented as well. So in the lab especially, there's a few people that can't stand for very long, and there's a few people that need that extra support. So for example, you know, I managed to get some lab chairs with some backs that are a bit more comfortable, and things like that. So just making sure everyone's represented.
Thank you. So Tara, I'd like to ask you a question directly. How do you believe the skills you mentioned in your manifesto will help you representing students in your faculty?
Yeah, please come again.
Yeah, of course. How do you believe the skills you mentioned in your manifesto will help you in representing students in your faculty?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I talk about diversity. I believe my leadership communication skills will help me to talk to different people, and I believe I'll be able to, those skills will help me solve that problem.
Okay. Thank you. All of the questions that I have, so thank you so much to all of our candidates for this role, and I will now pass it back to our President, Naomi.
Sorry.
Wow, this is hot. Right.
You didn't need to say that.
It's lovely. I love it. Okay, so thank you so much for everyone joining us here tonight. We are sure that this is going to be an excellent campaign. Do make sure you follow all the activity through SUBU social media. We will have a polling booth at Lansdowne on Monday and booths at Talbot from Tuesday until Thursday to help you vote. Good luck to every candidate in the election. We look forward to seeing you all again throughout the week and at the election result night at 7 p.m. in the student centre. Apologies, when we will find out who has been successful. Remember, get voting from Monday, the 11th at 10 a.m. Thank you all for being here tonight.